Forza Motorsport Review. Car-spangled banger. Sitting on the grid in my 2017 Holden V8 Supercar, surrounded by Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and Audi R8s, I have to concede I'm feeling a little underqualified. Forza Motorsport's online multiplayer spec racing should technically place all these cars on a level field, but I can't help but feel like I brought a cricket bat to a swordfight here. Several mediocre laps later and neither myself or my Vegemite-eating VF Commodore have troubled the timesheets much, finishing mid-pack one spot below where I started, but I'm sweating, and I'm smiling. The 2023 version of Forza Motorsport is brimming with new features across the board, from its muscular new multiplayer to its much-improved handling. All except for its upgrades, that is. They've been downgraded. Confused? Me too. Forza Motorsport is, by a significant margin, the best feeling game in the motorsport franchise to date. It isn't necessarily a total reinvention of the Forza formula, and it still has that familiar level of forgiveness baked into it when you're at and just beyond the limits of control. This is a series that has always been about letting us have the confidence to grab a car by the scruff of its neck and step the rear end out with a bootful of throttle without constantly over-rotating, and that's absolutely still the case here. The improvements before we break traction, however, are marked. If the previous game, Forza Motorsport 7, has any noticeable handling blemishes, it'd be that there's often a lack of bite to the feeling of grip. 6 years later, that's totally gone here in this follow-up. The feeling of grip in Forza Motorsport is far more pronounced and authentic, and cars feel more realistically rooted to the road than they ever have previously. Push beyond the capacity of your tires in grip will now taper away instead of falling off a cliff, meaning cars score more and skate less, which is a great improvement. Push beyond the capacity of your tires in grip will now taper away instead of falling off a cliff. The pleasing side effect of these terrific tire modeling improvements goes beyond making racing feel more accurate, it also actually makes it feel easier to drive fast. Easy is too often used as a pejorative in a gaming context, but, with respect to those who can't feel feelings until they're being flayed alive by a FromSoft game, in racing terms I can assure you it's not a contemptuous concept. Lapping as fast as the pros, millimeter perfect and at maximum attack? No, that's not simple. If it was, we'd all have yachts in Monaco by now. But hustling around a track quick and hard, confident the car beneath you is going to behave as it should? That's well within the means of a competent driver. The old sim racing mentality that if it's not difficult, it's not realistic is something that most good driving simulators have been moving away from for some time, and Forza Motorsport is no exception. It's easier because it's more authentic. Gamepad handling is extremely well refined. While it's hardly a surprise considering good gamepad handling has always been a staple of this long-running series, I'm happy to report it remains top-notch and has survived the physics updates beneath the surface. As usual, the team at Turn 10 has struck a terrific balance between softening things like rapid weight transfer and certain steering inputs to keep the handling tameable on a tiny analog stick, but still demanding an indisputable deftness to drive consistently fast. On a wheel, my experience is limited to the Thrustmaster TSXW Racer, but it definitely airs extremely heavy out of the box. On a wheel, my experience is limited to the Thrustmaster TSXW Racer, but it definitely airs extremely heavy out of the box. Surprisingly so, in fact. The last time my actual car felt this heavy to pilot it was because my alternator failed and killed my power steering. It is, however, extremely tunable, so I was able to eventually dial that aggressive heaviness out and enjoy what I otherwise consider the best Forza Motorsport wheel feel I've ever experienced. There might be a slight numbness to severe curves, but the responsiveness and stability is excellent. The feeling of car weight is also great, especially on undulating and technical track sections like cresting over the rise at Laguna Seca before slamming down through the corkscrew. There are some small, welcome touches for wheel users, too. Those who play in cabin view with the wheel visible may be happy to see the steering animation is no longer locked to just 90 degrees in either direction. The on-screen wheel now rotates up to 360 degrees, which is far more realistic. There are also car-specific force feedback and steering lock settings in the tuning menus, making it easier to keep cars feeling right without constantly readjusting the global settings. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.